Zombieland Double Tap is a film that is directed by Ruben Fleischer, a man who gave us Venom last year, and this movie stars Woody Harrelson, Abigail Breslin, Emma Stone, Jesse Eisenberg, Rosario Dawson, Luke Wilson. This is a sequel to the first Zombieland, which came out in 2009, so 10 years later we're getting a sequel to that movie. This is a film that also stars a bunch of Academy Award nominees and winners. I remember seeing the trailer and I was just like, holy shit, I totally forgot that half of these people in this movie were nominated or won an Academy Award. I find that an interesting little tidbit about this movie. The story here takes place 10 years later. The group from the first one, Wichita, Tallahassee, Little Rock, and Columbus, have all formed this little zombie killing family. They know how to survive. They have mastered the art of killing zombies and being a family in this apocalypse. One day, Little Rock decides to run off because reasons, and so the rest of the family have to go after her because there's a new kind of zombie out there and it's even more dangerous. This is pretty much a road trip type of movie where the family of Columbus and Wichita and Tallahassee have to try to find Little Rock and reunite with her. And along the way, hijinks ensue, and that's what we're here to talk about. So let's get into Zombieland Double Tap. Before I go any further in this review, I just have one simple question for you. Did you like the first Zombieland? Did you enjoy that movie? If you're a fan of the first Zombieland movie, I can't imagine that you won't like this one. I feel like if you're a fan of that one, you're going to enjoy this movie. If you weren't necessarily a fan of the first Zombieland, I feel like this movie's not really going to do much to sway you one way or another, so you might as well check it out because it's a good movie. One thing that is high quality and consistently watchable throughout this entire film is the chemistry between these characters. You love seeing these characters back together again. I don't know if these people are actually friends in real life, but it just feels like that chemistry comes across on screen. You can tell these people love to work with each other and they love being around each other. They have so many funny back and forths and so much great dialogue and interactions that go on between them. And family is a big thing in the zombie apocalypse, apparently. I mean, the first movie kind of focused on family, and this movie, it doubles down on that theme and that concept. Single out Rosario Dawson. Rosario Dawson pops in as a supporting character in this movie, and I really enjoyed her. She felt like a very natural inclusion into the story. She obviously had a great fit with the rest of the characters. She had some very entertaining and funny bits, especially with Tallahassee, that I will not spoil, but really enjoyed seeing her in this movie as well. There's not like a shit ton of it or anything like that, but there's going to be some decent zombie action scenes in this movie. Really good shootouts and some really creative and funny zombie kills. If that's the kind of thing you're looking for, you're going to find entertainment with this movie as well. Between the great chemistry between these characters, the zombie action, the relentless sarcasm and humor that you're going to find throughout the entire film, I would say that this is definitely a fun time at the movies. And like I said, if you're a fan of the first one, you'll have a good time. Unfortunately, when I break this down as a film, I think I do have to point out that the story concepts here are a little bit lacking, and I feel like I have to explain that before people jump down my throat. Guys, I am well aware that you're going into a movie like this and you don't really care about the story and you're not really that interested and it's not supposed to be this big, complex, nuanced thing. I totally get that. When I say that the story concepts are lacking in this movie, what I mean is that the story here, while it's somewhat entertaining because of the characters, I would say that it doesn't really justify why this movie is happening or why we had to wait so long to get this sequel. Specifically, the story in this movie feels like it was designed to be like 45 minutes in a TV episode, but then it's like they had to create a bunch of characters and scenarios and some pit stops along this journey. Because of that, it added a bunch of other filler to the movie that made the movie longer than I think it really needed to be, because the story here is really not worth an hour and 45 minutes or however long this movie is. This movie might actually be an hour and 30 minutes or whatever, but it felt like it was a little bit longer, and I think that's because of the filler and how it was executed in this movie. Really, the only hugely negative thing I took away from this movie is that there is a character in this movie played by Zoe Douche. Is it Dutch or Douche? I don't know. Her name is spelled weird, and I feel like I should say Dutch, but I don't know if it's Dutch. Maybe it's Douche. Then again, I feel like that would be even worse than butchering someone's name regularly by calling her Douche, because I don't think she's a douche. I'm not sure. I don't know how to say it. I'm just going to say Dutch because Dutch reminds me of Dutch Rudder. Dutch Rudder was that funny term that you find from Zack and Miri Make a Porno, and that just makes more sense to me. So yeah, I'm just going to call her Zoe Dutch. Point is, she's a character that's introduced into this movie, and she is kind of funny for about the first 10 to 15 minutes that you see her. She is playing the prototypical dumb blonde in this movie. Like, she's pretty much a plastic from Mean Girls. Pretty much she's Amanda Seyfried's character from Mean Girls. Only difference is Amanda Seyfried played the perfect dumb blonde in that movie. This girl is even dumber than that. That's kind of funny, but after a while, all the characters start treating her and reacting around her the same way. Like, it's just that relentless sarcasm where they're like, oh, you're stupid, but aren't you adorable? Like, you start to see that a lot. It starts to get repetitive, and I'll be honest, she just wasn't that funny to me after like 15 minutes. I feel like this was a character that didn't really need to be there. I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed the first one. I think the first one is definitely a better movie. But I definitely had fun, and I think that you guys should go out this weekend and check this one out. Zombieland Double Tap was a pretty fun time at the movies, and I'm gonna leave this one in the Silver Age for Man of Steel. Alright guys, those are my thoughts on Zombieland. Double tap, so tell me what's your favorite zombie-related movie that you've ever seen, like in your life. Put that in the comment section down below. Stay tuned for a video on Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. That'll probably be out sometime tomorrow. Please like and subscribe to the Superfan Show. And if you like what you see, tell me how you feel, and stay tuned to hear more from the Man of Steel. Peace.